Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a name forever linked with basketball excellence, but was once also linked to another man in another sport about a decade after the first retired. Kareem, spelled with an I instead of a double E, was born Sharman Shah on June 28, 1974 in Los Angeles, California. At the early age of 10, he had a hip problem that required surgery and would lead to a structural imbalance causing additional strain on his right knee for the remainder of his life. Even with this, he attended Susan Miller Dorsey High School in Los Angeles and played football at a high enough level to end up at UCLA in 1992. In his first 2 years with the team, he would only play sparingly, combining for only 384 yards and 102 attempts and 1 touchdown. And during the second season with the team, he would be awarded the number 33, the number of the UCLA athlete his name would one day mirror. During these first 2 years, he would also require his first knee surgery caused by the additional strain he had because of his hip, and would obtain an additional year of eligibility. In 1994, he'd be named the starting tailback, and though they would start the season ranked number 14th nationally, they finished the season unranked with a disappointing 5-6 record. So Abdul-Jabbar, still at this time known as Shah, finished the season with 1,227 yards on 210 attempts and 4 touchdowns. Those stats were good enough to place him second in the Pac-10 in yardage and average, as well as 10th in touchdowns, while also netting himself the team MVP award. During the off-season prior to the 1995 season, Sharman Shah went to head coach Terry Donahue with a request. The request? To be called by his Muslim name, a name given to him by his imam. And what was that name? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Coach Donahue just about fell out of his chair upon hearing the name change, but was accepting and agreed to do his best to accommodate the name change. 1995 would be a better year for both UCLA and Abdul-Jabbar. He would rack up 1,517 yards on 296 carries and 12 touchdowns, while also hauling in 20 receptions for 188 yards and another score. These stats were good enough to place him first in the Pac-10 in attempts and yardage, second in touchdowns, and third in average, while also 8th nationally in attempts and 9th in yardage. Abdul-Jabbar would once again be awarded the team MVP, and would help guide the Bruins to a 7-win season, though they would lose the Aloha Bowl to number 11 Kansas 51-30. At the 1996 NFL Combine, he would post a 32.5-inch vertical, a 115-inch broad jump, and run a 4.29 shuttle run. That, along with his collegiate performance, allowed Abdul-Jabbar to be drafted in the 3rd round by the Miami Dolphins with the 80th overall selection. He was once again awarded number 33 heading into his rookie season, but this is where some legal troubles began. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the basketball player, had written to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the football player, a letter upon hearing of his name change in 1995, asking him to select another Islamic name, or at least not to exploit it commercially after leaving UCLA. Otherwise, it could cause irreparable harm to him and his company, and he could pursue legal action. And with the number 33 Abdul-Jabbar jerseys going up in Miami storefronts, those legal actions would be pursued, eventually. But first, Abdul-Jabbar's 1996 rookie season, and it would be a good one. On an 8-8 Miami Dolphins team, Abdul-Jabbar would run for 1,116 yards on 307 attempts and score 11 touchdowns, as well as hauling in 23 receptions for an additional 139 yards en route to an all-rookie team selection. In 1997, the legal actions would begin, as Abdul-Jabbar, the basketball player, asked a federal judge for damages and the stoppage of all sales of Dolphins jerseys bearing the name Abdul-Jabbar. During the season, Abdul-Jabbar's overall effectiveness would see a slight drop, though his touchdowns would improve, as he rushed for 892 yards on 283 attempts and 15 touchdowns, while also catching 29 passes for 261 yards and another touchdown. His 16 total touchdowns would lead the league. During the 1998 offseason, a deal would be reached between the two Abdul-Jabbars. Kareem, the basketball player, would hold the right to the full name for use in commercial purposes, while Kareem, the football player, would be known exclusively as Abdul for commercial purposes. During the season, he would also see the same slight drop in production, except this time without the touchdown boost, as he rushed for 960 yards on 270 attempts, but only 6 touchdowns, while also only adding 102 yards on 21 receptions. The 1999 offseason would start the beginning of the end for Abdul's career, as he required his second knee surgery and had only had limited results. During the season, he'd have his biggest drop-off yet, only rushing for 95 yards in 3 games before being traded to the Cleveland Browns for a 3rd-round draft pick. he would finish the season with 445 yards on 143 attempts and 1 touchdown, along with 17 receptions for 84 yards and another touchdown, and would see himself a free agent heading into the new millennium with no contract extension offered by the Browns. Abdul would only see 1 rush for -2 yards with the Indianapolis Colts in the new millennium as his professional sports career came to a close. In the time after, he would eventually change his Islamic name, changing it to Abdul Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and went into personal training. Howdy y'all, Jackson here with Jerk Studios, and I hope you enjoyed that episode of Football History. And if you did, please consider leaving a like, and if you have a player, coach, or event you would like to see me do a video on, please leave it in the comment section below. And if you are new here and like the content, please hit that subscription button, and feel free to look around at other videos in my catalog. Bye!